Blue Force, are they going to charge? They know that they're within range. Let's see if they want to charge. They don't have a lieutenant anymore, so let's see what they decide to do. The answer is yes, they will charge. Hey, Wargamers, welcome back. Purple Druid presents The Killing Fields. 1-to-1 skirmish scale battles for the tabletop featuring miniatures from Risk Europe. Today we're going to do a little playtest on hand-to-hand combat in units. We have units lined up. When I designed the game, I was really thinking of more like, you know, you'd have these two guys here and these two guys here, and they would move around and fight each other and that sort of thing. But during the play testing, it has come up that people are forming up into units and making little armies, little mini forces, and then doing one-to-one combat. So we're going to take a look at this a little bit deeper. I also want to thank Mr. Wargaming for featuring the game on his channel the other day. And I do want you to be aware that the version he's using is a little bit different from this one, especially in terms of the Valor table. I have rearranged some of the more extreme ranges, 4-to-1, 1-to-5, that sort of thing, to better fall in line with some of the other rule systems that were contemporary with the Siege of Bodenberg. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this. Got some pencils and pens over here. What we have are two sets of troops, and I've created a troop roster. Now, this roster sheet is available in the new rule set. It's one of the appendices. It's Appendix D. You'll be able to have troop rosters that you can print out, and then you can make these up, and that will make your life a lot easier, especially when it comes to record keeping, especially if some of these troops have different vigor scores, which, as you recall, the vigor score is determined by rolling 2 average dice. For the purposes of this playtest, we are going to use a vigor of 7 for everyone, so that will make things just a little bit easier. Let me get this ruler out of here. So, starting on the left with the orange men, we have heavy infantry with a might of 3, vigor of 7, rally value of 9. All of the other categories are average or basic, so they don't have any effect on the game. They are using halberds, weapon length 4, and they're going to move 4 inches and charge 6 inches. On the right here, we have the purple troops. These are medium infantry, and they also include a lieutenant. You can see him here. He is mounted on a horse. He is light cav, which has a might of 2. Because he's the lieutenant, he gets a +1 to his might. So his might is 3, his vigor is 7. His rally value is 10. Everyone within 6 inches of him, because his leadership is 12, will get a +1 to their rally roll. Their rally score. So the medium infantry, these 12 medium infantry have might of 2, vigor of 7, and a rally value of 8. If they need to rally, if something happens and they break and they fall back, if they get a routed result in the Valor table, they will need to roll less than 8 if they're more than 6 inches away from their lieutenant. If they're within 6 inches of the lieutenant, they can have, they're going to roll against a value of 9, so you just need to roll less. So a 6 would be less, and they'd be able to recover. If for some reason this unit were to break up and become disorganized, then the individual members would retain their rally value of 8, and if any happened to be, or if the lieutenant is killed, then they'll need to roll lower than an 8, and they won't get the +1. The unit moves only as fast as its slowest members. Light cavalry can move 5, canter 12, and gallop 18, or charge 18. However, regular medium infantry can move 5 and charge 8. So they'll act as a unit, move as a unit, charge as a unit, that sort of thing. So we'll be making notes on here as figures are injured or what have you. We'll take a pencil, we'll adjust their might, we'll adjust their vigor, and as vigor starts hitting 0, we'll start taking them off the board. Now, we'll put this over here. We have our little dice tray. I also have my augury dice from Tales of Argosa. We're going to use these to make some decisions for us, because playing solo can be tricky. I believe these two units are just about 12 inches apart. Obviously, they cannot charge and reach each other. If they both charge, they might meet, at the around the halfway point, a little past halfway. Their charge is 6, their charge is 8, that's 14. So if they were to both charge, they would meet. But they don't know if they're going to charge. They're yelling at each other, they're shouting. So let's go ahead and decide individually if they are going to be ordered to charge or have been ordered to charge. So let's roll the augury dice for the orange team first. No, the answer is no. They will not be charging. Over here, will the lieutenant order them to charge? No. And it appears that we have just lost power. That's awesome. Oh, and here it comes back. Ha. All right, so we'll see what that does. Anyhow, luckily we're not online trying to stream this, because now I'll be offline for a few minutes. But, so neither of them are going to charge. So this unit can move up to 4 inches. So let's decide how far they're going to move. Let's roll a D average and see if they're going to move 2, 3, or 4 inches. Likewise, this group here can move up to 5 inches. So let's see how far their lieutenant will order them to move. So for the orange, they're going to be ordered to move 4 inches. For the purple, they're going to be ordered to move up 2 inches. All right. So we're going to do this. I'll put this right here. All right, I'm just going to put it at the edge of the tray. I know it's a little bit back. And we're going to move them up 4 inches. And then we're going to move this tray 2 inches. Okay, so now we are roughly 6 inches apart. We may or may not have the ability to charge each other for turn 2. And you know what? I need a turn marker. Hang on. All right, there we go. Got some cards. We're on turn 2. Red force is the orange. Blue force is the purple. Is red force going to charge? They can only charge 6 inches. It's pretty close. They don't want to charge and get caught short. So let's see if they're going to order a charge. The answer is no. Will they choose to stand put, or will they move forward? If they stand put, we get a yes. And we have a yes. So they will stand put. So there are no moving for the red force. The blue force does not have any missile weapons. They're armed with swords. Red force war engines, we don't have any. There's no valor checks for figures because there's no one in base contact, and so there's no melee. Now we're going to go with the blue force. Will they be ordered to charge? Yes. All right, so they're going to charge. They can charge up to 8 inches. We're going to declare charges for figures and units and then move figures and units. So they can charge up to 8 inches. The distance is exactly 6. So we're going to move them up here into base contact. And now blue force will rally any routed figures. There aren't any. Red force may shoot missiles or throw weapons. They don't have any to do so. Blue force war engine, there isn't any. Blue force will check valor for figures in base contact for melee. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but what we're going to do is we're going to count this whole unit because it's a unit. So we have 12 figures that have a might of 2 and one that has a might of 3. So that is 27. Over here, we have 10 figures with a might of 3. So that's 30. 30 to 27, 10 to 9, that's basically 1 to 1. So we're going to look at our valor table, and we're going to look at the 1 to 1 column. Now, if a charging unit contains the leader of the force, the valor table will be shifted 2 columns to the right. So we're going to go from 1 to 1 to 2 to 1. And then we're going to go ahead and roll a d10. We'll roll the white. Let's roll the black one so you can have some contrast. That's a 10. 10 on 2 to 1 is a melee. High rolls are worse for the attacker. Low rolls are worse for the defender. So on 2 to 1, there are 4 chances to get a melee result. We got a 10. That's the worst roll. However, our worst result is melee. So let's go ahead and take care of our melee. Each of the attackers is might 2. So he'll be able to roll 2 green dice and 2 white dice. And then his defenders can either roll 1 or 2 red dice. Now, some of you are going to be asking questions. I know this has come up several times. Why would I roll less dice? Well, it's possible that after the initial melee, okay, the melee resolution, the defender can choose to withdraw. So if they survive and they withdraw and fall back, then these guys have 2 more inches that they can follow up. Okay, their charge distance is 8, but they've only moved 6, so they've got 2 inches left. So they'll fall back d6 inches. If they roll a 1 or a 2, these guys can catch up to them, but if they don't have any dice left, they won't be able to attack. So that is one reason that you might not want to roll all of your dice. But I'm going to go ahead and pull up the melee resolution table so that we've got that handy here. For the melee combat sequence. All right, so we've got this here. And this is the well, it's actually the September 12th edit for these rules. All right, so we're going to start with the attackers. And they are going, because they only have 2 inches left, there's only a 1/3 chance that they can catch up if this unit withdraws. So they're going to go ahead and go for the gusto. So let's go ahead and start at the top and work our way down. Each of these will get to roll, except for this one, he's going to actually be able to roll 3 dice. But he may only roll 2, but we'll see what happens. So for red, we have 2 hits. For blue, we have no hits. We also have no doubles, and we have no triples. So this fella right here is going to take 2 hits. So we're going to roll 2 average dice, and that is going to be 6. So we're going to call that, we're going to call this guy number 1. This guy's going to be number 2. His might is going to be reduced to 0, and his vigor will be reduced to 1. You can see here, his might was 2. He took 2 hits. His might is reduced to 0, and his vigor, he took 6 hits to kill. His vigor is reduced to 1. So now we're going to move down the line to the next one. He is also going to roll 2 dice. This is blue number 3. So red has no hits. Blue has 2 hits. There's 2 ones, a 1 or a 2 hits. However, we do have a match, a red die and a green die. They match on a 5. The defender can choose to re-roll. And in this situation with no hits, he can only take 2. I'm sorry, he can take 3 hits. He's got a might of 3. He's got to roll. He might be killed, but he wants to try to do some damage, so he's going to re-roll that 5. So we're going to re-roll both of these dice. And he gets his 2, so now he's got a hit, and this is not. So we also, these guys have a longer weapon, so they get to hit first. So he is going, or I'm sorry, this one here is going to hit this fellow once. So we're going to roll a 2 for vigor damage. So we go to our troop roster. Purple number 3 takes 1 hit. His might goes down to 1. And his vigor is going to go down to 5. Now, we've already rolled, but he's down. So he's going to do 2 hits on this guy. So we're going to roll 2 times 7. So that's going to kill him. So he's going to be killed. So I'm going to pull him out. His might would have only gone to 1, but his vigor is down to 0. So he's going to be dead. And now we're just going to make our way down the line with the same actions. So red gets 1 hit, and blue gets none. So that's here. Oh, you know what? He actually gets to roll an extra die. So let's go ahead and roll a whole nother trio here. All right, so he's got a 6 and a 4, and he's got a 4. Now, something really interesting has just happened. We have a triple, a 4, a 4, and a 4. That means one of these 2 is killed immediately. And if you roll a triple, the rule for that is on a 1 to 4, the attacker is killed, and on a 5 or 6, the defender is killed. So let's go ahead and roll one of these dice. See if our lieutenant is killed. No. The attacker, oh yes, I'm sorry, the attacker, on a 1 to 4, the attacker is killed. So the lieutenant is taken out immediately. So that's pretty interesting. All right, next we have heavy infantry number 4 being attacked by medium infantry number 5. All right. Red has 1 hit, green has 2 hits. We don't have a triple. We don't have a double. We do have 2 3s, but it needs to be a green one. So 2 hits for this fellow right here. So he's number 3. His vigor, or his might, is going to go down to 1. And his vigor is 0. So he's going to be killed. So he's going to come off. And now we're down here to the last one. We'll roll these dice. We have a 6 and a 2. That's 1 hit for red. And then we have 1, 2 here. So that's 1 hit for blue. So he's going to do a hit to this guy first, because he has the longer weapon. And that's 8. He's going to be killed. So now his hit against him is not going to happen, because he's been killed. He's struck first. If they had weapons of the same length, then they both would have hit each other. So now that is going to be the end of this melee. And the defender may choose to A, withdraw, or B, counterattack. And then they will become the attacker. Now, they've lost 2, and they have 2 guys that can follow back up and join back into the attack. This one can move up as well. But what we're going to do for this is we're going to roll our augury dice. And let's see here. We're just going to roll. Are they going to withdraw? Yes. The answer is yes. So the defender will roll 2d6 for their withdrawal distance. We're going to move the defending figures and then move the attackers their remaining charge movement. Now, because it's 2d6, like I said, these guys are only going to be able to follow up 2 inches. So we'd have to roll snake eyes on here for them to catch up. We don't. It's 9 inches. And so they will fall back, withdraw 9 inches in good order, which will put them right here. Obviously, if we're playing on a larger table, that will work out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put them here, though, at the 7-inch mark. And then we're going to assume these guys moved up 2 inches. So now they're separated by 7 inches. And that is the end of our melee phase. Now, any individual figures on the table that are closer than 1 inch to each other and not in base contact with an enemy must be moved into open formation. Any units must reform. So this guy's going to step forward. This guy's going to step forward. And now here we have a problem because they are still within 1 inch. So he's going to step forward here. And then one of these two can step forward here into that space. And so that'll be the end of turn 2. And now these 2 units can decide what they wanted to do with the next part of their turn. Obviously, in a larger battle, you'll have more than just 2 units duking it out. But that's how this works. We don't have to roll any kind of post-melee morale, because the morale is handled in the first part of the turn. So let's go ahead and flip over to turn 3 and see if perchance this group here is going to charge this one. They can charge 6 inches. We know by meta purposes that the distance is 7. So they're not going to charge, but they are going to advance. Are they going to advance, or are they going to stay put? Are they going to advance is a yes. Yes, they will advance. And they'll advance up to 4 inches, 2 inches. And then that'll be it for their turn. Blue Force, are they going to charge? They know that they're within range. Let's see if they want to charge. They don't have a lieutenant anymore, so let's see what they decide to do. The answer is yes, they will charge. So they can charge up to 8 inches. The distance here is 5, so they'll have 3 inches left over at the end. Let's go ahead. You know what? Let's go ahead and just do it the other way, because that'll leave us more room and you'll be able to see better. All right. So now, once again, we have a situation where we're in hand-to-hand combat. And I probably should have mentioned, you know, let's unwind this a little bit. If we go back to this situation here, when these guys were in combat like this, when they chose to withdraw, if they had not withdrawn, then they would have been subject to, number one, they would have been able to do a counterattack. But the second problem that they would be facing is they would be facing the problem of lapping round. Because this unit charged and they did a counterattack, you get to move your reinforcements before you roll any dice. These guys can move up to 2 inches, because they would have had 2 inches left. So they can move 1, 2, and he could have moved here to attack this fella. And 1, 2, he can get into combat with this fella, and so on and so forth. So these two could have lapped around, and then we would have had a battle here, a battle here, a battle here. Again, this guy would have moved forward. 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 So these two figures here would have had to fight 2 battles. And the odds are good that one of them, if not both of them, would have been defeated in that battle. So that is another thing to keep in mind, and another reason why units might want to roll more or less dice. If it had been the other way around. Now, if that were the case and the red force had charged the blue, because red was the charging unit, they get to reinforce first. So red would move his men forward to fill in the gaps. And then red would also be able to expand his frontage, which means that these guys out here on the edges can move further out. So now they actually will match, because they'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by 7. So when blue reinforces and moves his guys back up, now we have the red side has an advantage that they didn't have previously, because they had a narrower frontage. And now at this point, they're even up. And because the red force has a higher might, if they choose to do so, they'll have more dice that they can use to fight back. So there you are. It's very important who gets to charge, and who gets to be the one to attack first and force the other person to make that tactical decision about whether or not to counterattack or withdraw. So there we are. We're going to do some more battles. We'll do some more of these demonstrations. And again, please let me know down in the comments if you have any questions or suggestions, or something doesn't make sense to you. I would love to talk to you more about it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and keep on gaming.